All right, welcome to the Damian Giles discussion group. We have Damian Giles in. Here we go.
And greetings, everybody. I want to welcome you to the Damian Giles Discussion Group podcast. Tonight, we have with us the usual cast of miscreants, degenerates, Ben, Nate, Brandy, and Tamala. Tonight, our subject is going to be the pros and cons of marijuana. We welcome your phone calls and your feedback. If you want to participate by calling in, you can call in at 724 744 no, excuse me, 724-444 724-444-7444. It's going to ask you for a call ID, and that number is 138133#. Then after you do that, then just hit £1, and that should bring you on into the conversation. We're going to roll live, we're going to roll long, we're going to roll hard tonight. Let's take a few minutes to get everybody introduced themselves.
Hi, I'm Benjamin Paddock. I am the short-time producer here. And anyways, I can't wait to get started on this subject. It's going to be a really good one. We're going to be talking about marijuana. Fun stuff.
Hey everybody, I am Brandy Cambrick from Houston, Texas. I am just excited to have callers on to make this an even more lively conversation.
Oh, Nate Davis. I guess we're going boy, girl, boy, girl. Okay. Nate Davis, also studying Dick Fast. Currently, the Rockets are playing. I'm missing the game, but it's all good because I'm here to talk about weed because weed is good.
I'm Tamala Roberson, Seattle, Washington. I'm just your average miscreant.
Allegedly.
No, ain't no legend. I can speak to that one. That is a full-blown trouble.
No, you can't.
And that's what I'm calling the kettle black.
Okay.
And we're going to rumble.
So weed is good.
Before we get right into the topic, in the news earlier, I noticed that there was a tussle, if you will, among a group of Caucasian males in Waco, Texas.
A tussle with bullets.
A tussle.
And death.
That's right. You know,
No, it wasn't a tussle, it was a brawl.
Yeah, it was a
Oh, yeah, it was a brawl. I'm sorry. A brawl.
Yeah, you're right, it was a brawl.
Well, I don't know that I would go full-on brawl because I haven't heard the news declare it as a brawl yet. But from what I understand, it was just a tussle and a disagreement amongst some white men that involved the exchange of some words,
Some bullets,
some harshness, nothing.
Some knives.
Yeah. Nothing big, just resulting in 9 people being dead, 9 people dying and a whole bunch of others wounded. Nothing too big, the cops didn't see the need to handcuff anybody.
Right.
Allowed people to use their cell phones.
Right.
And the thing I found just completely shocking, not one time has the word thug been mentioned.
At all.
Ain't that some shit?
Even though that there were well-known biker gangs, ain't nobody dead, ain't nobody shot. Just amazing.
Local law enforcement was aware that they were violent, had violent tendencies, and on top of all that, on top of everything else, they mad at the owner for allowing it to go down. I'm like, okay, now hold on. Now you protest a system that oppresses you, and you're a thug. But you go out there with a bunch of guns in a shootout, and you're just having a disagreement. What's up with that?
Well, see, the cops said that they're upset with the restaurant owners because the police had actually asked the restaurant owners to stop the meeting or gathering or whatever it was that brought them all there. The police had actually asked them to not do it and to cancel it because they anticipated this kind of trouble.
Yeah, but you cannot tell a private entity turn away no money. Let's be real. This is America.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, and I find it funny that a whole bunch of tattooed people that look like they have
Right.
prison tattoos, and they're on motorcycles, all gathering in one fucking area. It would definitely signal to me that doesn't look good. Doesn't look fucking good. No, let's don't put any fucking police there. No, let's put it around the black school.
Right. Or better yet, let's put it's two guys over there talking together. Let's watch them because if one more comes over there,
That's
they
a
must
gang.
be ready to prop the revolution. White fear. Oh my God. Could have never
Revolution
freedom.
City,
You know.
Yeah, that's
You know,
bullshit.
give them a little money. All of a sudden, they want to act like we on the same page. We on the same playing field. Wrong.
Mm-mm.
I'm just curious to see how all of this is going to play out in the courts because I think they said it was like over 120 people
Yes.
either arrested and or charged. And the last news broadcast I heard about it, they were like trying to figure out how to get all these people in the courtroom to go through a court proceeding.
How to get them to go through? I mean, the whole idea of let's figure out how we're going to get them to go. Are you serious?
Yeah.
They're white.
Handcuffs and paddy wagons. What about that?
Yeah, that's what they're trying to figure out. How you gonna get them all in the courtroom?
I'm just waiting to see. I'm just waiting to hear these guys called thugs. If you call them thugs, hell, I'll be happy.
Okay, but we all know that.
You know that's not gonna happen. That's not
No
gonna happen.
thugs.
Mm-mm.
Thugs.
They're just a group of white people gathering motorcycles. You know.
Right.
Nah.
No, they'll probably name the Rough Riders, a bunch of thugs, but not these upstanding young men of America.
Hell's
Exactly.
Angels. Yeah, no,
Mm.
that's okay.
Horrible. Just horrible. It's like, really? Seriously? Come on.
Well, you know where we live, and it's unfortunate, but
Yeah.
the powers that be have let this particular behavior, they've actually reinforced this behavior through 3 or 4 generations at this point.
Right.
So to try to undo it is going to be a monumental task. I don't even start me to lying about how to do it. I just know that it's there.
Don't nobody know. You can't even start to try to undo that shit.
Mm.
They don't want to
Well, it
even.
begins with telling the truth. It begins with telling the truth. Historically. Yeah, that's where it begins.
Not gonna
That's
happen.
all. That's just. I can just step one. That's all I can do. I'm a simple girl.
Tell the truth, huh?
Yeah, that's the start. That is the start.
They've been storing that for. That's
If
been
we
a
can get
store
the
for 400 years. It's been 400 years and no store.
I know
Oh.
this, and you know this.
Right.
But overall,
They know.
the only way that we're going to be able to affect any change is to get the real truth out there, not just their version of the truth, which is scary and lies and deception. But we won't get into that. That's another discussion.
I do find it funny myself that not only do they get together in a big rally like this, but they publicly tell each other that I don't really like you. They really have no problem with that. So I mean, what did they expect it to happen? I mean, fucking wake up, people. It's motorcycle groups that want to fight. No shit.
That's just crazy. I mean, these dudes. My question is this. Okay, so I'm assuming that they all had licenses for the weapons that they had on them. I mean, now I'm not going to say that I am a card-carrying member of I guess I call it a deterrent that is powered by I don't know, this powder and little metal slugs. But all I'm gonna say is this: I know damn well that a lot of them probably had illegal weapons on them. Some of the even weapons that they pulled out are illegal, but yet we're trying to figure out how to get them in court.
Well, see, you have to understand one thing, Nate, and I'm going to appeal to your sensibility as an intellectual. See, these are white, law-abiding gentlemen, so all of their weapons were legal.
Right.
They weren't fighting. They were they were well within their right to open carry according to the Second Amendment. They're well within their Second Amendment rights.
Okay.
It just so happened that 9 times somebody, 9 different people accidentally, was shot. Not because anybody did anything erratic or was fighting or anything like that. It was a gentleman's disagreement, and at the end of the disagreement, 9 people, their blood pressure went up,
Mm.
popped a hole in their chest, and
Right.
it resembled a gunshot wound. And hey,
Mm.
at the end of the day, 9 people were dead. No harm, no foul. It was
Right.
just a tussle amongst white men. No
Mm.
drugs, no nothing, no handcuffs involved. They're probably sitting at home right now because, hey, just a misunderstanding. People are just
Right.
letting off some steam, like
Right.
like they did in Kentucky and Penn State and
Hmm.
wherever white gentlemen
Where? Yeah.
congregate
Yeah,
and let off steam. The back in
Right. Right. Like
yeah,
like going to the gym and punching a punching bag or something. It's like, hey, you know what? No harm, no foul. Okay,
no.
so 9 people got killed, but how many people didn't die?
yeah. I was wondering, what was the argument about? I mean, what were they blaming Obama for this time?
Well, being
Because those motherfuckers. No, we're gonna blame him for something. No,
But,
no,
it's
black.
it's funny you asked that question, Ben, because while we were talking, I was surfing a few websites, news sites, to find out just the answer to that question. What started this fight? So apparently, it was behind a parking dispute.
Stop. A parking
Yeah.
space?
A parking space is
Shut
what started all of this.
Mm.
A parking space.
Like
So 9 people
Well,
died.
behind
Well,
the
you have
parking
to
space.
understand,
Behind
parking
parking
spaces.
For a
See,
bike.
I don't know if any of you have ever been to Waco, but parking spaces in the Waco area are scarce.
Okay, they drive fucking motorcycles. You can put 2 bikes.
Well,
in
no,
one.
in the parking space.
See, that's where you're wrong, Brandy. That's where you're wrong. You have to understand something. Parking spaces,
Well, no,
regardless
it's not
of
like up here in
size-
Seattle during fucking game day. Trust me.
Right.
hang on now. Because what I'm trying to lay on you is some heavy shit here. Now, you have to understand.
Always good.
I've been to Waco because I was stationed at Fort Hood.
Right.
And I spent some time in Waco, and I'm here to tell you that parking spaces in the city of Waco, the town, are scarce. They're scarce, right? They're far and few to come by. So you have to understand that these gentlemen that were a part of this social organization, and their motorcycles, their weekend bikers or whatever it is they do. I'm sure by day they have their law practices and their
Okay.
very well and outstanding citizens of the community. You understand? See, so I can understand where one could be upset, if they come in and the one parking spot in town is taken.
I want to blast a cap into somebody. That was my spot.
It makes me mad
exactly.
enough to want to start shooting too. So I get it.
Right.
I understand these gentlemen's plight. They're not at
You want a
fault.
motorcycle? Dude, you can park a motorcycle on a curb.
Nate,
Okay, you can put a bike on the
Nate,
sidewalk.
Nate, Randy, hey, listen. It's the principle of the matter. I've already said that.
No, it's not a principle. It's a motorcycle.
Okay, pardon
No.
my French. Fuck the
No.
principle. There is no principle.
Hey, no. Actually, no. It is a principle. I understand. I get it now, Damien. Thank you for clearing it up, because basically what you're telling me is that he should have the right to the parking space to put his one bike that could fit 4 others. You're absolutely right.
Thank you.
I
Whatever.
got it. White logic. Got it.
Bullshit is what it is. Bullshit. Straight bullshit.
How was he,
we
Miss
know it's
Brandy?
bullshit. Most
And-
intellectuals know it's bullshit.
And for here in Texas, that's a lot of bullshit. We
Shit, hold on.
state, that's a whole lot of bullshit.
That's a lot of bullshit, but that's an argument in court. Hey, I have the right to have this one parking space because I'm an American, right?
Yeah,
I'm just saying. So he'll go and argue that shit. He'd be like, you know what? He was infringing on my right to a parking space.
yeah. You got a point. Now let that.
Well, we're going to see how that flies in court.
Let that have been a group of black men on bikes, then.
It wouldn't have happened if it had been a group of black men. I'm telling you, they would have blocked the
First of
street.
all,
Well, see, what would have
you
happened
all
is they'd have had the SWAT team on the scene
Hello?
At a time.
That's not true. That's
Geraldo
not true.
Rivera would
What
have
you
been
need to
like, hey, Negroes acting up again. Go get the chains.
No. What you need to understand, first of all, is in the state of Texas, specifically in the town of Waco, black people are only allowed to ride motorcycles between the hours of 11:59 p.m. and 12:01 a.m.
Shut up.
With black people on motorcycles in Waco, because, like I said, you've only got a 2-minute time frame. Black people can ride motorcycles, so you won't hear issues like that
Right.
about black people and motorcycles in the town of Waco.
Shut that shit up.
Man. Hey. Yeah.
I'm reading Huffington Post right now, and it's interesting, that reading the title here. It just straight up says, "White on white crime strikes again in Waco."
What?
I mean, the last time I heard of white on white crimes was David Koresh burning everybody down.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great white on white crime.
No,
Yeah.
see, you guys are wrong. Koresh was misunderstood.
He had mental health issues. He had mental health issues.
Not misunderstood. He was not misunderstood. That was fucking Harry Potter right there in an adult form.
Right.
He was misunderstood.
You're absolutely right. You know what? He had the right to resist a invading government force into his compound. You're absolutely right. He was protecting his property. You're absolutely right. You know what?
I'm gonna let him.
I approve it
now.
Y'all is a hot mess.
Whatever.
Hey, weed is
So
good.
anyway, what else? What else?
All
Is
the
in the
time.
news? What else is in the news?
Ah, man. Wait, yo, did you guys see that? I think on one of the pages they posted where the guy landed the airplane with the jacked up front landing gear.
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw that video.
That
Okay.
video was actually old. It's old by a few years.
You guys, I don't watch the news because it's all lies. I'm sorry. It's always, when I look at TV, it's always about trying to sell a point of view, or it's never, so I just don't even bother. I don't, so I can't help you there.
Okay. Let me see.
I just want to let you know. I just want to let you know.
Well, most of us actually just watch and read the news just for entertainment size anyway.
Oh, is that what it is? See, it ain't funny to me.
Right here on Huffington Post, Madonna latest Instagram photo stirs controversy.
Sweet.
Old and
Do we care?
Nobody listen. Hey, no. Here, check this out. In current music news, Kendrick Lamar has done a song with Taylor Swift.
oh my fucking god!
Kendrick Lamar, dude, your street cred is over.
Yeah.
Dude, hey, yo, give the mic back to Dre. Done.
Well, hey, everybody's all abuzz about Obama finally joining Twitter.
That nigga. Hey, that's what somebody put on there. Welcome, nigga. I'm like, oh.
But I think it's interesting, the closer and closer that he gets to the end of his term, the more
vocal he is.
Ethnocentric. He's starting to come out little by little. It's interesting. It's interesting, especially if you watch his wife, because she, you notice they don't mess with her. You notice they don't mess with her.
Yep.
They don't mess with Michelle Obama.
no.
She will cut you. She is from Chicago. She gonna smile at you, but she gonna catch you in that back alley. That ass is hers.
Oh, yeah.
They don't play with her, and it's just interesting to watch the dynamic between those two. It really is. But yeah, I think it's funny that he's coming and becoming more supportive of the black community as the end of his term reaches us.
I mean, but I guess we say more support. I mean, how is he becoming more supportive of the black community? I'm still waiting on this conversation about reparations and slavery.
Well, he ain't gonna go that far. You have to also, I mean, think of it this
Remember,
way.
he's got white supporters too, so he's
Exactly. He ain't gonna go that far. But at the beginning of his
White
first
people
term,
yeah.
the beginning of his first term and most of his second term, he wouldn't even address any issues of people of color. He wouldn't even address them, being of the mindset, I am the American president, not the black president. I can understand him having to do that, but as this term comes to an end, I have noted that,
Yeah.
you know, or is
I
that
know
my
where you're going.
imagination?
No,
You see what I'm
it's
saying?
not. It's not. Yeah,
It's not? Okay, good. I ain't tripping.
Well, you people have to understand that reparations have been extended and paid out to black people en masse.
When?
Right now, I don't know if you noticed all the Popeyes chickens that's been popping up all over the place.
Okay, see.
And
You know what?
the extended amount of Cadillac dealers that are popping up. And if you look and pay attention, the price of Cadillac has gone down.
It has.
No,
decreased.
boo-boo.
Now look, that's Obama talking to black people.
Right.
Oh,
Oh my
Rep-
God.
I'm sorry. I
But
guess
Hashtag
I'm not the right kind of black
reparations.
people because I ain't hearing it.
I'm not hearing it because
Hashtag-
I don't like watermelon.
Hey, hashtag reparations.
Hashtag you on that bullshit.
Okay.
Right?
Well, hell, I figure the slave owners got reparations, the banks got reparations. Okay,
Hello?
I'm sorry. Okay,
Hey,
I'm sorry. Did I go there? My bad.
No, but that's okay though, because I'm like, hell, you bomb a damn country and you paid them. You incarcerate Japanese citizens and you pay them.
Paid them.
I'm like, come on now. Hold on. You give money to Pakistan and they hate us.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Actually, don't I've been over there. They don't hate us. They
Oh.
don't.
Okay.
That's
The,
no. They
margaritas
don't.
I used to throw out to the side of the road there.
Wow.
Oh, well, I didn't have no problems when I was over there. I didn't even know what y'all was doing. Y'all was over there killing folks. Yeah, they're going to be mad at you. Shit. I was over there having fun.
All I'm saying is this, is that, you know what? They know they need to pay. There needs to be a serious conversation about it. I mean, when you got Hillary Clinton on there talking about, you know what? The disparity between blacks and the whites is just really, really bad. I'm like, so the white woman got to save us again? Really? Come on.
Well, hey.
Well, you know nothing gets heard unless it's said by a white person. So,
That is correct, because
you know.
Hey, quiet is kept. When all them white folks were killing them black folks in the South, it was all good. Until a couple of Jewish kids got killed. Oh no, there's a problem. I'm like, really? I just lost my uncle and my great uncle 2 days ago. But you know, Felton and Jimmy over here from New York, they come down. It's like they disappear. It's like, oh shit, we got a problem. Really?
Well, of course.
I'm just saying. It's just crazy. You know, it's like even with Obama. I mean, I get he trying to get in touch with the black side. I get all that. But at the same time, dude, I'm like, come on, man. You know,
But you have to realize how much power that man really has, which really isn't a lot.
I agree.
He's a figurehead. He is a figurehead.
I totally
and we're
agree.
trying to put a new face on America. And the reality is, America's face has been fucked up all over this planet for I don't know how long. Okay? We just don't know it. Well, we do, but white America just doesn't know it until they travel outside the country.
Hey, but Tim, hold on. But there's no such thing as a white America and black America, right?
I don't know what reality you live in, but you need to get to this plane of existence.
Listen,
Okay.
listen.
Yes,
listen. You're going to stop with that type of foolishness? You need to understand that we're all God's children, with Jesus covering us all.
Oh, well, then
White
hell,
people.
I know, boo-boo.
Right.
No, I got to go.
God bless America.
No. I got to go.
God bless
Y'all talk.
the United States of America.
Listen, support the troops. God bless America.
In these United States.
Yeah,
In these
okay.
United
Okay.
States.
This great, this,
Capitalism, go capitalism.
Yeah,
yes, great
exactly.
experiment in democracy.
Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go America.
America!
America! Woo!
Oh, yeah. Woohoo!
All right, guys. So now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and
Weed is good.
push into our topic. Ben, why don't you open us up with some stats and some information? Get us started.
Okay. Well, tonight's topic is about marijuana. Now, we've all seen in the news that there's legalization in Colorado and also in Washington. I'm reading from a Washington Post article right here, and it clearly states inside, title, Colorado's legal weed market, $700 million in sales last year, and $1 billion by 2016.
Damn.
Yeah, they're doing pretty darn good there. That's in the state of Colorado.
Right.
In the state of Washington, not so good. Definitely hitting the millions, but could have been better. And let's see. At Mother Jones, a year after legalizing weed, Colorado hasn't gone to pot. So,
Wow.
Not surprised.
yeah, they are hitting some deficiencies there, and so on. But the topic is like, what is the pros and the cons here? What are we saying that is a good thing? What are we saying is a bad thing? There's a lot of people that say decriminalize it. There's a lot of people that say why don't we make sure that we industrialize it? I say industrialize it. That's my opinion.
Well, that's been the whole problem from the beginning. This whole
Right.
thing has been about monetizing it for the establishment.
Right.
And once they have figured out the best way to do so, I mean, you still got your corner guy selling weed. Until they have found a way to do so, it's still going to be an issue in other parts of the country.
Right.
You
So
know?
the issue that I see here in Washington State, and I'm not a smoker, but I do have friends that smoke. No, you laugh.
As we all.
I'm being serious.
Yeah, me too.
But one thing I've noticed is I've never seen any of my friends that indulge in weed. I've never seen any of them talk about the fact that they've gone down to the weed shop and bought some weed. Right? So how does that work from a capitalistic standpoint?
Right.
You have the government that gets involved, and of course they want theirs because they're going to tax it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the problem here in Washington, if you read Initiative 502 concerning the legalization of weed, it talks about the taxation process, right? So if you are wanting to get into the weed business, there's 25% tax on the sale of weed. There's 25% tax on the packaging, 25% on the growth, and 25% on distribution. So the state is making 100% tax and taxes off of the sales of weed. Now,
And the quality's not as good.
And exactly, the quality, from what I understand, is nowhere near as great as what you can pick up off the street for half the price. Now, what does that do from a capitalistic standpoint? You priced yourself right out of the game.
Pretty much.
You understand? So where you have an ounce that goes for, I think the street value of an ounce is $250, $280, somewhere in there, $300.
$325.
Oh, thank you.
Not that I know.
Right. So
Down to the fence.
right. So where you have that, and you have the state selling an ounce for damn near twice as much, there's nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, stopping the weed man from standing across the street, watching people walk out of the store, and hey, come here. Look, I've got 10 times better for twice as less. Right?
It's just a simple fact that they haven't figured it out yet.
Well, it's not about figuring it out. It's not about figuring it out.
It's the free market.
The state of Washington has done exactly to marijuana what they've done to the sale of liquor. They priced themselves right out of the game. So where people like me that live on the border can hop into Oregon and buy some liquor tax-free, or people that live north can hop into Canada or over into Idaho and buy their liquor without the 25% tax, it affects the people in the middle. In terms of alcohol, not the same as liquor, but it still has priced the state or the weedpreneur right out of the game.
Weedpreneur.
I like that.
I got a few more for you before I get out of here tonight.
I like that. I'm copyrighting that one. I'm trademarking that. That is my new term.
I like that. That's a good one.
So you price yourself right out of the game. So
Right.
again, from a capitalistic standpoint, it's not effective. It's not an effective process from a capitalistic standpoint. What do you guys think?
Hey, maybe the purpose. But see, here's the deal. Now, if you look at it from another angle, maybe that was the purpose. The purpose of them doing that is to prove a point to say, hey, you know what? We legalized marijuana. It's really not It's not benefiting the state. You still have people out there selling it. Therefore, let's illegalize it again. Think about it. I mean, it kind of makes you think about someone who wants to be seen as a hero, so they stage a robbery, and they go where they can be shown as basically stopping the robbery to be lauded by the regular people out there.
Right. Same for like the arsonists who set a fire and then come racing, like the firefighters who will set a fire and then come racing in favor of the day.
Right. Or catch someone, someone walking down the stairs and you push them and then grab them and be like, "Hey, I saved you."
Exactly.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Message: weed is good. Man.
Yes, weed is good all the time.
All the time. Praise weed Jesus.
That's good. Praise weed Jesus.
Praise weed.
Praise weed Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
Nate, it's okay, Nate.
What are you guys seeing as pros and cons of the legalization of marijuana? I mean, before you answer the question, we got it. Weed is good.
I mean, well, I'm actually on the site. It's called About News, and they were saying, okay, basically the whole thing is, why is marijuana illegal? So I'm gonna go ahead. There's like 10 reasons. I'm gonna go right on down to, let's see. We're gonna go ahead and go to. Wait for it. It's coming. It's coming. It was once associated with oppressed ethnic groups. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. Check this out. Basically, in so many words, I just scrolled down. Okay. It was like, hey, yeah. Hold on, give me a second. Hold on, I'm still talking. It's there. Me and my finger.
It's there.
I feel horrible. But anyway, okay, yeah. So basically, it says right here, the intense anti-marijuana movement of the 30s dovetailed nicely with the intense anti-Chicano movement of the 1930s. Marijuana was associated with Mexican Americans, and a ban on marijuana was seen as a way of discouraging Mexican American subcultures from developing. But check this out. Today, thanks in large part to the very public popularity of marijuana among whites during the 60s and 70s, marijuana is no longer seen as what one might call an ethnic drug. But the groundwork for the anti-marijuana movement was laid down at a time when marijuana was seen as an encroachment on the U.S. majority white culture.
Okay, and then Nate, I can back that up going way back further to the 1600s.
Take it back.
King James actually ordered every colonist, they had to supply 100 crops of marijuana to the Virginia Company for them to ship to England. So even back then in the 1600s, George Washington and Thomas Jefferson were growing marijuana.
Exactly, getting high, because it's good.
It is good. It's good.
It's good.
Well, marijuana has always been, it's had medicinal value since the ancients.
Right.
So the whole concept of making it illegal was to benefit someone or some group. I mean, even today, it was a fight to get medical marijuana on the books. It was a fight.
Right.
Make you kind of say, Even though the ancients of just about all of the indigenous people on the planet used it for some medicinal value, whether it be spiritual, whether it be actual physical healing.
Hey, I don't mean to cut you off, but I just gotta say this, okay? Look, even back in the day, during the biblical days, if you're a Christian, praise Jesus and pass the ammunition. But hell, even the Bible talked about burning bushes.
Hey.
Hey, hold on. Hey, real talk. And okay, so now I don't care what nobody say. You have to be high to think that a bush is talking to you.
Okay.
You have to be really high to take your son out to a rock and say, "I gotta kill you, son, for God."
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Wait. Okay, hey, sons and daughters that I'm having sex with, let's gather a bunch of fucking animals and get on this boat.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta be high for that shit.
You spoke of some good shit.
We getting ready to cross this ocean. It's finna open up. Watch this.
Watch this.
Watch this. Hey, like I say, hey, weed is good.
They must have had some really good weed back in the Egyptian pharaoh
Hey.
time.
I want some of what they
How
got.
do they move those fucking
Yeah.
rocks, man?
I don't want nothing that's strong ever. Okay? No.
It's like talking to a bush.
No.
Man, I don't know. It's just, I mean, the point is this: somebody felt that it was going to infringe on their ability to make a certain amount of money to increase their greedy wealth, and that's what it all really boils down to. So they paid a bunch of people to say, "Hey, we're gonna pay a bunch of wealthy aristocrats who are educated to go out here and lobby for this," and then on top of that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this BS that we believe that's gonna keep them from being able to make us some money. And now we're going to send it to the regular people who are not as educated and make it to them seem like it's something wrong with it, so that they will support us not using this cheaper form of product so that they'll want to pay higher prices for something that would cost a fraction of it if it was legalized.
Well, see, I think personally, because they've damn near put everybody and their mama in jail behind this shit, one form of drug or another, they have no option. Putting people in jail was a moneymaker.
Right.
Now everybody's in jail. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do now?
But then it's funny you say that, Tam, because like I'm on another website and looking again at the pros and cons, like comparing Colorado since they've started. Now, it says that arrests in Colorado are down. So it says marijuana-related arrests have dropped 84% since 2010, with legalization further de-emphasizing low-level arrests for charges like simple possession.
Right.
Traffic fatalities are down. They say in the first 11 months of 2014, there was a 3% drop in traffic fatalities.
I ain't mad at the weed.
Hey.
I ain't mad at the weed, because you get high, all you want to do is go in the kitchen
and eat.
Eat up some shit.
You don't eat yourself out of house and home.
Okay? And then you go take your ass to sleep.
Exactly. You're going to eat and you're going to sleep.
You ain't got time to be driving nowhere. You're going to eat and sleep.
Hell.
You can't get in too much trouble.
So on a serious note, I was seen an interview with Michelle Alexander, where she was talking about the legalization of weed, and she was saying, it's a great thing that the states of Washington legalize weed. However, you have to look at the criminalization aspect of it, of black men and boys being put to jail, but white men have now found profitability in weed, and now it's okay, it's legal.
Right.
For now all of a sudden weed is good, it's legal, let's sell it, because a white man has now found a way to make some money off of that.
Exactly.
I'm inclined to agree with her, right? However, my point is, my issue with that is she's condoning the illegal sale of marijuana, which the ramifications of it, and can land you in jail, prison for a very long time. We all know this. So, I see her point, and I agree that, it's wrong that these guys, the very same people that are profiting from the legalization of weed, are the very same people that was putting black men and black boys in jail. And they're the very same people that brought you Jesus Christ. Support the troops, God bless America.
Okay. You're sick.
But you know what though? But here's the deal. Like you said, so a white man decides that, hey, I can make a profit by selling weed. But think of it this way: even if the white man wasn't selling it, he was still making a profit by locking up little black children, locking up black folks. So
brown and black kids. That's right.
Right. So again,
but that part has run its course. That locking up folks behind some weed and drugs, that has run its course, because the whole mindset behind drugs has changed. So they're already seeing the end of it. The powers that be, they already know that's the end of that. So they've had no choice but to go this route.
Well,
They
yeah,
had
because
no
I mean, if you
choice.
stop and think about it, most of the arrests for marijuana possession, it's what? It's enough for, as they call it, recreational use. So it's a
Right.
bullshit charge. It's a
It
bullshit
really
charge, just a way to fuck with people, fuck with men,
Mm-hmm.
black men, and hem them up on something else to give them a legitimate reason to search your car. Or you fit the description of said bank robber in the area, or whatever the
Mm-hmm.
case may be.
black.
Mm-hmm. And once you
Right.
get into the system, once you're in the system, even if it is behind a bullshit charge,
Yeah,
your life becomes twice as hard.
it does. It
You're
You
does.
right.
know, twice as hard.
I mean, and you're absolutely right because here's the deal. Now you've gotten this charge. Now you have this felon. Now you can't go out and educate yourself and get loans for school, government loans for school.
Yep.
Now you can't go out and
You can't
participate,
get a job. You can't get a job,
get a
period.
job, or even participate, even vote. But yet you pay taxes and you don't even have a say so. What's that about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about it. So you're right. Destabilize the black community, and this is what we do. And I take it even a step further. Okay, well, we stop the little bullshit drug charge. Okay, yeah, we'll take that out, but we'll still keep the education system to a point where, hey, you know what? Now we can label these little kids, give minimum amount of education. Hey, you know what? He's not acting like he should act. So guess what? Now you're special ed, or now we're gonna medicate you. You see what I mean? So you're still making money off like you still profit.
Yeah.
So, Nate, I have a question for you.
I have an answer, hopefully.
Why is weed good?
I
I just want to know.
mean, honestly, and this is real talk. I know people who smoke weed and like Damien's and like what he mentioned. How many times have you heard somebody saying, "Hey, this dude robbed the store. He was high on weed"? No, he might have been high on PCP. He might have been high on that cocaine.
Right.
I mean formaldehyde, whatever that silly syrup, whatever that silly shit is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, think of it from the medicinal aspect. It's already been proven that it relieves pain in terminally ill patients. It's already been proven that they have numerous years of study for that. You see what I'm saying? And on top of everything else out there, think of it this way. It allows for people to have peaceful and meaningful conversations without yelling.
Okay, I'm gonna give you that one. I'm gonna give you that one.
Because I have seen
And it also can make the scariest things taste good.
Exactly. Allegedly. From what I've been told.
You know
Also, what you've been
I
told.
mean,
Yes, yes.
But,
Let's
but,
be real clear.
hey,
Yes,
but
exactly.
listen. Tabasco sauce does the same thing.
What?
Actually, no. You can't have a peaceful conversation with Tabasco.
With
Too many
No,
talking.
but it makes things taste better. If you've ever had an MRE, you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Oh, meals ready to eat are not the answer.
I'm good.
Tang.
I'm good. I'm good.
Well, Damien, I have to kind of agree with that. I'd much rather eat pussy on weed than eat pussy with Tabasco sauce.
Oh,
Wow. Ouch.
oh,
Ouch.
Okay.
That's, ow. Oh.
Okay. All right then. Hey, you know
Okay,
what?
Ben.
Yeah.
And
Ow.
we're walking.
That thought process.
Right. Tabasco sauce and vaginas. Next.
Oh. Okay.
But that's why I think weed is good. And also think of it this way. Okay, so even in this natural state, it is very relaxing. You don't need extra additives like rat poison.
okay.
Weed is better for you than cigarettes and alcohol.
Exactly.
Right. And see, this is what kills me. Now check this out. Check this time. Like you were saying, going back to the stats in Colorado about the number of deaths have decreased with the legalization of marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
There was an article that said that there was crime that went down. There was a lot more revenue coming in, and also they are putting more of the tax money into schools and libraries and stuff like that. So they are doing good.
Y'all didn't see that Star Trek episode where the planet went through a drug reform and Okay, I'm gonna stop. It was you probably aren't sci-fi geeks. I'm sorry, my bad.
What are you talking about?
Okay, the Star Trek episode where Jean-Luc Picard and Q comes and he's
Yeah.
showing himself. You know what I'm talking about?
Keep going. They don't know.
Okay, and he's representing himself as a person from planet Earth who's going through where everything was legal. So he was like these coked out soldiers. Live long and prosper. Don't play.
Wow.
Okay,
right.
shut up. Okay, but
It always shall be my friend.
Okay. But this is what I see. This is what we're moving towards.
Right.
You know, we're moving towards everything is going to be legal, and whoever is foolish enough to indulge to the point of killing themselves or taking themselves off the playing field, that's on them, because you know we need to bring down our numbers here on this planet for survival of the peoples. You know.
Right. Well, I remember the episode. I guess the thing is this, like anything that you do, anything you do in excess can be harmful. Think about it. You eat too much is harmful.
Mm-hmm.
You exercise too much is harmful.
It's harmful, yeah.
You had too much sex with the wrong person is harmful.
Like there's a disclaimer in there.
So all I'm saying is this: is that going back to
Tabasco sauce.
yeah, with some high sauce. But the thing is this: my point is this. Okay, so you want to sit there and you want to legal. I mean, you want to say, hey, it's like you want to say it's bad, so on and so forth. But you've already shown the positive of it. What has alcohol shown as positive? Alcohol.
Well, I can answer that question.
I'm not talking about the number of kids out here.
No. Alcohol is a great help, much like weed is to some people, right?
Uh-huh.
And you may have that that significant other sitting next to you that's constantly bitching and complaining. I ain't never heard a complaint that a glass of Crown Royal did not drown out.
Hey,
wow.
You know.
Yes, and the difference is alcohol has negative connotations versus, from what I understand, marijuana does not have the same type of detriment to your liver, your semen, and some other things. I mean, from what I understand, I don't know because I don't partake in none of that. But you know,
right? I mean, when's the last time you heard of somebody saying, "Hey, you know what? It was a weed-related car accident"? Oh, you know, hold on.
Actually, we had one of those today.
Shut up!
Wow.
They were trying to say somebody was high today on the news. That was a lie they tried to tell us. I walked by.
Wow.
I'm calling that stuff that stink that come out of the animal four legs.
Bullshit.
That's bull. I mean, but it's propaganda though. I'm like, like I was saying before, you gotta make it look bad so you can prove your point. You gotta pull that one case out there to say, hey, even though we got 50 other cases out there of great things that happen, it's that one case that, hey, it's a problem because that's that one case. It's like, think of it this way. Think of it how certain people of color of the male persuasion are viewed after certain images are shown on TV. You have all these great intelligent. Hey man, they go to school. It's a group of it that they're in school. They're doing things with the community, and they're just really benefiting society. But you got the one or two knuckleheads over here, okay? One or two knuckleheads, and they're like, oh my God, you know what? Yeah, they're educated, but it must not be working too well. We need to have more regulation on how they're educated. You see what I'm saying?
Well, why? I don't think that's part of it because the education that we get in the first place is bullshit. It's not education. I don't think that plays into that. I think it's more, as I was speaking earlier about my father, I think too much marijuana can emotionally stunt you. Not physically, but because it's a shut-off mechanism.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now I have rebuttal to that one.
You can rebut.
Because my rebut is this is that. Okay, just as you say, too much of it can shut you off emotionally. Mm-hmm. How do you know that not enormous amounts of you elevate you to a higher plane of reality so that you're able to deal more with someone emotionally?
Okay, but didn't you say earlier that anything in excess is what?
But excess is left open to the person who.
Interpretation. Okay. All right.
Exactly.
See, this
And
is
you know
why I'm
what?
about to come to this computer. We gonna have a talk. No, you ain't
Hey.
want nothing, child.
And then to Nate's point, like I said before, I actually went to college with a guy who smoked weed every day before class. And dude, at the end, I mean, he graduated top of his class. Dude graduated from school with like a 3.4. Aced all of his classes, never flunked anything, but he started every morning, like you said, Tim, your dad started with a bowl of something and some
Yep.
weed.
Yep.
Yeah. He
Captain
started
Crunch.
his day with a joint and a bottle of Pepsi.
Okay.
Exactly. I mean, how many people out there start their day with a cigarette and a bottle of Pepsi? Think
Right.
about it. And cigarettes,
Cigarettes
okay,
can do a hell of a lot more damage.
Exactly, and that's my point right there. Weed in its natural state serves a purpose.
It does, yes.
You don't have,
Well,
you can't. I mean, a
what do you
cigarette
think of? What do you think of that hybrid stuff?
I mean, hype. I
Okay,
mean, see, there you go. with
hybrid
that-
shit.
See, there you go with that bullshit. See, the
Oh,
thing
I'm
is
sorry,
this.
my bad.
Hey.
It's natural state.
In Colombia, they sit there and when they're in the fields, what they do? They chew the cocoa leaves, right?
Cocoa leaves. That's right. That's right.
Exactly. But what the white man want to do? Now he want to take this shit and ground it up and add some other shit.
And
Now
that's
it's
when
not
you start
about that
fucking
open
up.
in the restroom while you're on the toilet. I'm just saying.
And that's when you start fucking up and you have people dying.
Exactly.
They mix
Exactly.
it. Then it goes from the white man doing it. Then you got these random ass folks out in the street getting infused and lacing it with formaldehyde and
Right.
super glue and bullshit like that.
Exactly. That's my point. Super glue and bath salt. Who sniffs bath salt? Does that?
Does that?
Man.
I'm like, who was sitting? I'm like, who was sitting home one day?
Who comes up with it though? I want to know
Exactly.
who actually says, "Ooh, let's try this."
Right.
No,
I think
no.
you guys are taking the term bath salt literally. It's not. Bath salt was an actual drug, not the cow gonna take me away type shit.
Shit, are you sure?
No,
know how
I
white
talked
people
to
are.
this white kid that got kicked out of A&M, and I was like, "Why'd you get kicked out of A&M?" I was snorting bath salts. I was like,
Well, yeah,
"Shut
that's
the fuck up."
because he's a dumbass and didn't know any fucking better. But if you got in the hold of the real shit, it wasn't by any means something that you wash your ass with.
Right. But check this out. This right here. This is compressed air. Okay, my computer's a little dusty. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go get some compressed air. Dude, hey, we need your license for what? What do you need my license for compressed air? Okay, this is the reason why. Well, this is what I was saying. Well, some people take it and they sniff it. Who sniffs compressed air? But
it's called huffing, and it's not the air. Okay,
well, that's my point. I'm like, you so damn stupid. Okay, that you want to take the chemicals they use to compress this air in this can to sniff it to your brain to get high and kills the brain cells. And you try to figure out, well, why am I so dumb? Really?
Okay.
I was young.
Somebody from the outside, from an outside perspective.
Hey,
Here, hold on, guys, hold on. Let's get an outside perspective right now. We got Chad from Washington State. Go ahead, Chad.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good,
Hey.
Hey, so, you guys talking about whether, marijuana's good, whether, it's bad, stuff like that. Realistically, I'm a cigarette smoker. A lot of people look down on me because I smoke cigarettes. Now, do I do it in front of everybody else? No, I have my cigarette use. Just like weed, though, it's my personal choice, right? I don't smoke weed. However, I fully believe the legalization of weed due to the fact that it goes back to the states, it goes back to schools, it goes back to those public servants. I'm a volunteer firefighter, so those fundings go to me.
And there you have it.
I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you at all.
That's an excellent point,
Ain't
Chad.
that good?
That's an excellent point, Chad. Appreciate your insight.
Thank you.
I guess it's all about personal choices and personal preferences.
How they wanted to, display it.
Yeah, that's totally understandable.
I agree.
Yeah, thanks,
Hey.
Chad. We really do appreciate that. Any questions for Chad?
Do you plan on trying weed anytime soon?
You would ask that.
I'm smoking anytime soon, though. I haven't smoked weed in probably about 6 years.
Oh, good for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Firefighter right now.
And
right?
what was the reason for you stopping?
He's a
After I stopped it, I didn't enjoy it, personally.
You didn't enjoy
Oh,
it?
you didn't?
Nope, I tried it, gave it, a try when I got out of the military, decided I didn't like it, haven't looked back on it.
Is there anybody here who's never been in the military?
Well, hey, Chad, thank you for joining us on our discussion group. We really appreciate the call. Thank you very much.
No problem. Good.
Keep
Hey.
listening.
Yep.
That was
Hey.
Chad. Thank you, Chad.
Way to go, Chad.
Chad brings in a good point, though.
Yeah, yeah.
But then,
I mean,
okay,
the
but
money's
then
going
to
to
his
the right
point,
place.
but to his point, like he said, okay, the revenue goes back to the state, but then going back to, I think it was Nate earlier when you started, when you were, no, Damien, you were talking about the taxing in Washington State on the marijuana. Why do you think it is that Colorado is doing so well in that
Well,
aspect,
it,
where
it would
Washington
have to
isn't?
be the tax structure. That's the only thing that it could be, at least that I could think of.
Okay, so
I
how
don't
you
think.
think it'll fare? So in the news they're talking about legalizing it down here in Texas. How you think that's going to work out?
So again, it's gonna come down to a tax structure. I don't think that at least last time I was in Texas, um, they don't tend to just tax arbitrary things. Like here in Washington, they have what's called the sin tax. Now, I don't know if you guys have that in Texas or not. I haven't lived in Texas in a while. But they have the sin tax. And then they find any and every little thing that they can to add tax on to. Bottle of water, candy bars, right? And it's not a tax that you're paying for at the register. The tax is already built into the price like the cost of gas.
Okay.
But the
Okay.
flip side to that is like liquor. So the price that you see at the at the shelf for liquor, you don't. That's you're gonna pay that price plus 25% when you buy liquor, and it only applies to liquor. It doesn't apply to beer. It doesn't apply to wine. And the reason why is because the state of Washington was sued for having a monopoly on the sale of liquor in the state of Washington.
Hmm.
They were sued and they lost, so the state figures, well, if we have to get out of the liquor game, we might as well make all the money we can off of it, and that's when they implemented that tax. So when weed came through, the legislation for legalizing marijuana turned it over to the Washington Alcoholic Beverage Commission to write the laws and handle that. So their whole thinking was, well, hell, just treat weed like liquor, and we'll just tax the piss out of it at 25%, right? So if you look at other states like Oregon, Colorado, and the new kid on the block being Texas, if they were smart, they'd take a page from the Washington playbook of what not to do, and that's overtax it.
Right.
That'd be the smartest thing to do, because you have to figure on the day that marijuana stores opened up here for recreational sale,
It was off the chain.
no, there were stores that were closing. They opened at 8 and were closed by 9, out of business by 9 a.m.
Are you
Right?
serious?
Because
Oh,
they
yeah.
weren't selling. They weren't selling any weed. They weren't selling anything. They were
I
being
remember that story.
Yeah, they were being, like I said, they're being taxed 4 times on weed. They're being taxed on the sale. They're being taxed on the packaging. They're being taxed on distribution, and they're being taxed on the growth.
But you know what is booming though? The edibles.
Mm.
The edibles are
The edibles
booming up
and
here.
the oils. I've heard the oils are
Exactly.
doing well too.
Exactly. Those are booming, but straight weed, especially when you can get better on the corner.
Right.
You know.
I agree. I mean, but like it goes back to what I said previously. It's the conspiracy side of it. It's like, okay, well, yeah, this money, it goes into the schools, it goes here, it goes there, but if it's taxed at such a high rate,
Ain't nobody gonna buy it.
exactly. So again, it's not adding the revenue that we projected. Therefore, what's the use of having it legal? Problem solved.
You know, one thing I kind of say that they really kind of goofed up on doing the whole legalization is that they, to me, it still doesn't stop the systemic problem of what we still have going on here. You know, it's we still have poverty. We still have people that are poor. We still have people that are not getting the education they need or the services they need. And I think that, you know, if they had a more bigger plan of industrializing it, and I think that would just skyrocket it further than you could ever imagine, because there'll be more jobs in the area. There'll be people having places to work, and people can be consumers, and they can, and plus also the product, or the weed itself is it reproduces so fast that you can have building materials really, really fast.
It's a
And
replenishable resource, and it's
yeah.
Right.
And I think that one of the biggest things that they should look at is biofuels. I mean, if we can actually make a whole entire field of just dedicated to biofuels, and start moving towards more other sources of fuel, but still that as a biofuel for diesel engines, my God, that would help out a lot. Might have a few more car crashes because people are so high from the exhaust.
That would be an interesting one.
That would be great, Ben. But again, now you're in competition with the oil industry, the oil barons.
And they ain't gonna have that. They ain't gonna have that.
They don't. Yeah.
They want to keep us dependent on fossil fuels, so as long as they can pass down wealth to their from generation to generation to generation.
The thing about weed is that it has so many viable uses.
Right.
Between clothing, paper. It's got so many viable uses that if it came onto the market strong like that, it would shut everybody else down.
Right.
And they're not going to let that happen.
I read something a little while ago, I think it was probably a year or so ago, about why weed is actually illegal. And it started with one of the Rockefellers, if I remember correctly. Started with one of the Rockefellers, had a paper company. And he owned this paper company, and then his competition was a hemp factory that was making paper as well. The problem was Rockefeller's pockets were deep, and his arms was long, whereas the other company had big change and small pockets, or shall I say, big change and short arms. Right? So the problem was, so the issue there also, with everybody knowing Rockefeller being as politically connected as he was able to get legislation passed legalizing the sale, the manufacture, and the growth of anything cannabis related. Because the paper company that was making everything out of hemp was making a stronger product for less money. And it didn't require the natural resources to do like it does, like cutting down trees. I mean, weed is a renewable resource, basically, because every time weed grows, it generates seeds, and marijuana grows anywhere.
Right.
It grows anywhere. Right. You don't need a lot of anything to produce marijuana. You don't need space. You don't need a lot of sun. You don't need a lot of water. You don't need a lot of dirt.
Right.
You just need a small amount of natural of a resource to produce a marijuana plant, and then the marijuana plant itself produces what it does. Right. So you have to look at it again. When you're looking at it from a capitalistic standpoint, the reason why it's been illegal for so long is because of, again, money. Somebody had it to price the other person out of business. Because think back before the Prohibition era, you had every drug known to man that was legal. Shit, they sold it in grocery stores, every place. Sodas had cocaine. Coke had cocaine. Dr. Pepper had opium. And all these various products that was legal right here in this country that are now illegal today. And the question to that, again, and I believe we've already answered, is the why. And what it comes down to is he who has the most money is the one that's going to get the law passed, right? Because I can promise you that if the five of us were to put our money, if we had that kind of money, but we were to put our money together, start up a company where we produce various products made out of cannabis, marijuana, whatever you want to term it, and we produce this, right? And we already know that in some instances, what we're going to be doing is going to be in some ways considered illegal. However, as I stated before, when you come to the table with money, you get things to change. Right? So if we formed a company, put together enough money, and went to the table, we could initiate legislation to have anything that we want changed. So that said, if somebody really wanted to do it, and they had more money than the pharmaceutical companies, you can put them. I mean, you can change that legislation altogether. Because right now, the pharmaceutical companies are probably the reason why marijuana is not illegal. It's the reason why you won't have this cancer cure, this drug that Cuba has invented. You'll never see that here in the United States, right? So, what it really all comes down to is the money. So the pro and con of it, we all know the pro, and the con always still points back to.
All right.
Drum roll. Oh, hold on a second. All right.
Drum roll.
Thank you. It all comes down to
money.
It all comes back down to money.
Yeah.
It all comes back down to money.
Well, like as I was sitting here, and you were talking about the Rockefeller connection, in all actuality, according to this article that I just found, basically in the early 19th century, William Avery Rockefeller basically was a traveling salesman, and he hawked remedies and medications that were opiate based. So he was in the industry or whatever. And basically, he said he called himself a cancer specialist, and eventually, with the sales of his elixirs and growing snake oil fortune.
The hell?
Well, that snake oil is a motherfucker.
Yeah, it is. He was able to give large amounts of money to his son. Check this out. To his son, John Davidson Rockefeller, who used the money to start an oil business. John Rockefeller saw that oil was going to bring him an even bigger profits, okay, than snake oil elixirs. He played the railroad companies against each other, eventually gaining control. The railroads and cheap transportation were key to transporting the oil. Refiners who could ship his oil for less would put the others out of business, okay? And then, but it gets even better. It gets even better. So basically, this dude's son used the fortune that he used, or whatever, to launch a number of crusades of his own, including financing a large part of the movement to prohibit alcohol in the United States. Although his crusade against alcohol ultimately failed, he was not discouraged from public enterprises. He built Rockefeller Center and so on and so forth, and then learned the technique of propaganda. Therefore, he basically went against and waged the war against the same thing that originally gave his family money. Weed is good. I'm just saying. So yeah, so like Damon said, I mean, it's like going back to what we were saying about what I was talking about, the conspiracy of we're going to tax it so much that we don't make any money off of it, therefore we can make it illegal again. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. That's all. And to me, it looks like that. It looks the same.
But what about what about the states that aren't taxing the piss out of it? What about the states that are only putting the tax on it that is their normal sales tax, which is what 8%, or be it whatever it may in a given state? What about those states? Right. I mean, their philosophy is not pricing it back to becoming illegal. Their philosophy is, hell, we might as well go on and get paid from this as well.
Right. I understand. I mean,
like I said, so far, there's only one state right now that's pricing themselves out of the game, and they still haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
Right.
It's shocking to me because of the way Washington State is, and its legislation and its philosophy. I mean, Washington is a very, very liberal state.
Right.
And it is shocking to me that as liberal of a state as Washington is, nobody's figured that out yet.
Maybe they have figured it out. Think about it. Because here's like I said before, yeah, it might appear to be liberal, but is it really liberal?
Yeah, good point.
Mind blown.
Good point.
Mm-hmm.
Weed is good.
There was another what was it? It was another video that I remember watching, and it was about Israel, I believe, and I think it was Israel, but they were talking about medicinal marijuana and how they're even giving it to kids and lollipops and shit like that for medicinal uses. But they have it on lockdown. There is no way you can get it on any market whatsoever. I think they chop off your hands or something if you have it, and all that good shit.
Okay.
I mean, they've shown that hey, it is useful. We all know it. I mean, like you said before, if somebody feels that they can't make money off of it or it's going to cut into their profits, then it's bad. Then we hire a bunch of lobbyists to go out there, go to Washington, go ahead, buy off a couple of senators. Then we take some money, throw a couple of commercials out there, say, hey, you know what, this is horrible. And you should never want to do this, even though we're robbing you on the other side. But hey, we want you to support this so that we continue to rob you without you even knowing. I'm like, that's crazy.
Mm. Yes.
Just saying.
You know, there was also another article that I was reading on Indian News or Indian Country News Network. Anyways, and they were talking about the having legalized marijuana on some of the reservations, you know, and I'm just thinking to myself, man, that to me, I don't want that on my reservation at all. But I mean, if it's a way that people want to come over and partake, you know, why don't we capitalize on that shit like we did with casinos? But you know, me personally, I wouldn't want that on my reservation. But but then it made me really think. It was like, man, they would have a really good hustle on that end of the market, because they would probably easily put out the black market and the recreational and also the medicinal, maybe the medicinal. But I bet you anything they would take out those other two markets in a heartbeat.
Plus, if it came out on a reservation, wouldn't it be, I won't say exempt, but I guess for lack of a better word, exempt from state and federal laws? Because the reservation, they basically govern themselves.
Yeah, that's as far as I know of. Yeah, that they've been trying to propose that kind of thing, and they do have like certain governing laws because it is federally protected. But I don't know, because I mean it's like gambling can be only legal in certain states, stuff like that. But you get onto a reservation, we can have gambling all day long if we want. So I think it really kind of comes down to the constitution of the state itself to allow that. Because I know, like in Texas, apparently I don't think there's any casinos there from the tribes. Is there?
No, not here in Texas. No.
No.
Nah.
All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this up and bring on our final comments.
I'm with Nate. Weed is good.
Weed is good. Weed is good.
And I mean, if Texas can get their act together as far as the taxation of it and be in line with like what Colorado is doing, I'm all for it here in Texas. It will thrive. I mean, I've actually already gotten with a few people, and we're getting business plans together, and we're already figuring stuff out so that we can be forefront and ready to go once that bill gets signed and weed is legal.
Hey, I'm in on that. Hey, inbox me.
I got your number. I'll keep you posted.
That's what they do.
Damn.
Your mic is on mute.
You muted, Tam.
Lip reading. That's right. I'm reading what you're saying. So what she's saying is that weed is not. Wait. Okay.
Oh no.
She
lost her
Yeah,
She lost her mic.
Yeah.
Check your mic and come back. Ben, what you got?
Okay, well, I just say that I think it's a great idea to decriminalize it, because it's ridiculous to have all these people in prison for a fucking dime bag. You know, let's grow the fuck up, guys. It doesn't really matter that much if you're charging them like they're a hardened fucking criminal. It just puts people through the system, and that just gives more fucking money to the private prison owners and shit like that. I don't want to give money to those fuckers. And I think, yeah, decriminalization is a great start. I think that the future should be more industry about it. You know, let's really tap this well of a good resource that can be renewable and can provide a lot.
Yeah, so my thoughts on the pros and cons of the legalization of weed are actually pretty simple. Yeah, it's a good moneymaker, and it's it's a means to get a lot of people back to work economically. We talk about jobs and unemployment and what have you, and the simplest shit that we can put together here in the United States, nobody even thinks about, or maybe they think about it and just say, oh, no, fuck that shit, right? Because if you were to, if for whatever reason the government at the federal level decides to legalize marijuana, right? Because that's a lot of people's issue as well. It may be legal statewide, but then the issue is federally legalizing it. So let's just say for whatever reason the federal government decides to legalize it, and then the government gets into the weed business, which of course we all know they will, if they're not already.
They're already in it.
But that's another conversation now. We're not going to speak bad on our government. God bless America. Support the truth.
Go America.
Go America. White Jesus.
But let's say they get into it and they start realizing the money that can be made on weed, and then so now you have a government agency that's about marijuana. How many people would that put back? How many people would that put to work? And how much economic development could be generated if the federal government got involved with weed? Just weed alone. I mean, we'll just discuss. I mean, we could talk about other drugs, cocaine, and that's had its medicinal uses as well as opium. But we could talk about those things later. But the point is, just think at the smallest level if government got involved with weed. And I'm not advocating government involvement in anything, but I am saying just imagine if they did, the jobs that it would create, and the poverty that could be probably completely eradicated. Poverty will be a thing of the past, as well as homelessness, etc. Here in the United States, if they just got involved in something as small as marijuana, right? So all that said, again, I'm with it, but it has to be done fair across the board. Tam, we see your mouth moving, but we ain't hearing nothing coming from you.
No, her mic is still down.
Oops. Well, my final thought is this.
Well, how you gonna have a final thought after me?
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have a.
No, man, go ahead.
No, that's fine. My feeling is hurt. It's okay.
No, go ahead. Don't make it
nah. Nah, but like you said, Dame, I mean, I agree. There is so much out there that can, I guess, even the playing field per se, and can really benefit a larger majority out there. But again, when has America been about the majority?
Oh, hell, that's an excellent point. Well, with that said, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. We'd like you to continue this conversation and, give us a little bit of feedback. Tell us what you think. Your thoughts?
We won't back down, we won't shut up, 'cause Amy and Giles don't give a fuck.